So, David, in this week's editorial of your Messenger magazine, you actually talk about cruise ships as opposed to lifeboats. So let's talk about cruise ships. What's the thing about cruise ships for you? You say you don't like them.
I have never wanted to go on a cruise ship holiday. Why would you? Why would you want to spend a holiday surrounded by another 800, 900, 1,000, 1,500 holidaymakers, all confined to one space? Now, I have some lovely friends who've been on cruise ships and they've had some of their most meaningful moments, but it's just not a holiday for me. I just don't like the idea.
It's one of the fastest growing industries of holidaymakers today. More and more people are going on cruise ships. They're more affordable. Before it was seen as a aristocratic thing, but now the average person can enjoy a cruise ship. So everyone's having this luxury experience now.
I've got to admit, I've been on big ships, particularly crossing the Irish Sea, in good weather and bad weather, right? And sometimes when that ship goes about 5 degrees that way, right, and another 5 degrees that way, I've not enjoyed myself one little bit. I'm thinking, is it going to go 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees? And it's no fun. I'm not relaxed. My muscles tighten. This is no fun. Come on.
So you make an important point, though. So the cruise ship, you liken this to the church. Tell us a little bit about what point you're trying to make with regards to cruise ships and the church.
Today's cruise ships are basically entertainment centres. On the top deck, you've got the swimming pool, you've got the go-kart track, you've got the climbing frame, you've got the slides, you've got everything. Lower down, you've got the casino, you've got the theatre. Lower down still, you've got the restaurants. And it just is a symbol to me that life on the cruise ship is all about me. Your needs are endlessly met. And I imagine myself on this cruise ship for a moment. I'm sat on a deck chair. The sun is shining. I'm semi-comatose. The waiter comes along and says to me, "Would you like a cocktail?" Non-alcoholic, of course. Yeah. And he comes back every 10 minutes to make sure that I'm pampered.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the church, we can be tempted at times to think that the church is all about us, like a cruise ship, that we just sail along happily, calmly. Well, you've been on a cruise ship, haven't you?
I've been on a cruise ship, yes, and I have to admit it is a luxury experience, but I understand what you're saying. Everything is catered for, your entertainment. There's little that you can do other than relax and do nothing. And I'm looking at what you just said with regards to that being the church, and it can be very true that as a church we can be complacent in how we worship, do evangelism, do community events, because in the vessel of the cruise ship church, everything is catered for.
Absolutely. I become a consumer. And again, on that ship, not everybody's equal. There's people who have windowless cabins. That's not for me. There's people who then have a cabin with a balcony. Well, that's getting better. Yeah. And then there's the suite with a bigger balcony. Yeah. And of course, every tier you go up, the more expensive it becomes. No, that's not my type of holiday.
And I suppose it's true in a sense that as a church, on a cruise ship, you put on weight because you've eaten food right from breakfast right through. There's 24-hour food. So in the church, we can get fat on Sabbath school with the word. Yep. We can get fat on the messages and the hymns and go back in the afternoon and we're still consuming. And we're not passing any of that out to anybody else.
So the church gets excess fat and it focuses in on itself. So one of the examples I give is sometimes in the busy life of the church and busy members, they'll sometimes say, "We don't need a board meeting this month. There's nothing on the agenda." Agreed. There's nothing on the agenda when all the lost people in your town are no longer lost. That's when you've got an excuse not to have a board meeting this month, and that's in comparison to the lifeboat.
Okay, so 2 vessels that are traveling to some kind of destination. One is a luxury experience from A to B, but the lifeboat is called with a mission and with a purpose.
The lifeboat volunteers, in the main, they're volunteers. are always on watch, always on standby, always waiting for the phone call. There's somebody who needs rescuing. They will go out all weathers. They go out sacrificially. They are skilled to go out. And just recently, this last week, second week in February, we've had some storms. There is a picture of a Shannon lifeboat. This is the maker of the lifeboat, or the name of the lifeboat. A Shannon-style lifeboat in which it is trying to rescue a foolish fella who goes out into the sea, a surfer, in these stormy weathers, stormy conditions, right? And they still have to go and rescue him. And they go rescue him. And you see this lifeboat on YouTube, and it goes over to 90 degrees. 90 degrees in the waves, right? And you think that is going to go under. And it comes back up. And of course, I heard the interview with the coxswain, and he said, yep, they did that. We are strapped in. We are ready for these type of conditions, and we are ready to serve, and we have skills. And sure, we didn't get the fella because he was found further along the coast and had been rescued the other way, but they still went out in those conditions, ready to save.
And so as a church, maybe from not your perspective, but could it be that the church that we are more of a luxury cruise ship as opposed to a lifeboat? There are people that need rescuing in our community, perhaps even inside the church as well. But as a lifeboat church, we have a mission and a purpose, and that is to seek and to serve and to save. In
contrast to the cruise ship, which is not flexible, it has only certain routes, it can't go certain places. To steer and turn, it has to start turning well in advance of actually turning. It is not agile, it has excess fat. The lifeboat, in comparison, is agile, it is quick, it is efficient, it can maneuver very quickly, it can change easily for the sake of its mission. The cruise ship cannot. And there is a very clear metaphor there for the church. Are we flexible, adaptable to meet the circumstances of the people we are trying to reach?
Sure. The cruise ship is a large ship. Lifeboat is a small ship.
Yes.
But the symbolism is not about the size of the church, is it? It's about where the lifeboat could represent a large church, but it's still about the main characteristics that you just mentioned.
A group of 10 members can have a cruise ship mindset. A 1,000-member church can have a lifeboat mindset. And I hope that every church has that lifeboat mindset, because Jesus said, I came to seek and to save the lost.
Well, I think that's an excellent comparison between the two, and it's a real challenge for members, leaders, to look at their own selves, look at their own churches, and to find out, or to see which two is their church actually operating on. So, thank you.
Thank you.